Okay, so this week's lesson is going to be a fun one, and it's going to be a breakthrough for a lot of you. So you're going to want to grab your guitar and follow along. And from time to time, I like to make these types of videos where we take all the theory and all the textbook stuff and we sort of push that to the side, and we really concentrate on just making music. You know, sometimes that gets overlooked, and that's the whole point anyway. And so I want to give you some tools and some techniques for how you can just grab a guitar, no jam tracks, nothing, and just start making music. And maybe these are some things you haven't thought about before. So we're going to take a look at an L shape in 2 spots on the neck, and from that we're going to be able to play some chords, we're going to be able to play fill licks, and in different styles of music. And so we're going to go over all that information in this video. There's some extra stuff for premium members though. If you want to get a little song, a little composition, a blues song that I wrote using the techniques we're going to learn in this video, as well as the tablature for that, and then there's an extra video that shows just some extra information. You can get those things by going to activemelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP440. Okay, so hopefully you've got your guitar and you're ready to follow along. Now we're going to be learning the 1-4-5 chord format. I promise this is the only theory we're going to talk about. And if you don't know what 1-4-5 means, don't worry about it. You're still going to be able to do this. We're going to be learning that in 2 spots on the neck using this L shape as a visual anchor. So we're going to start down here. We're going to be playing this in the key of G. And I want you to follow along with me. We're going to take our index finger and we're going to play the 3rd fret, 6th string. That's a G note. So we're playing in the key of G. That's our G note. So that's our 1. There's our 1. We're going to go up a string. We're going to play that note. That's our 4. So that's going to be a C note. So we have G, C, and then we're going to slide up 2 frets and play that note, which is a D note. That's our 5. So we have 1, 4, 5. And if you can picture the L, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now it's going to be, from my vantage point, it's kind of backwards and upside down, but there's an L there. Now you may think of that as something else, like a little hook, or however you can, whatever you can visualize that and think about that as, whatever metaphor you want to tie to that. But that's what I'm seeing is an L, starting at the tip of the L and working my way to the top of the L. Okay, so hopefully you're with me so far. We have 1, 4, 5. Now we're going to learn the same thing using another L shape, but we're going to play it way up here. Totally different region of the fretboard. So now we're going to come up to the 10th fret, 5th string. So notice we're starting this time on the 5th string before we started on the 6th string. We're going to start here now. That's going to be our 1. That's also a G. That's a G, that's a G, right? And we're going to play our 4, which is here on the 8th fret, 6th string. And then our 5 is on the 10th fret, 6th string. So if I'm looking at that, I've just created an L right there. Now this L actually is oriented correctly from my vantage point. I'm starting at the tip of the L, but then I'm going back to the beginning, or the top of the L, I guess, and then working my way up here. So I'm kind of going out of sequence from what we did here, but it's still an L and I'm still tracing those notes. So what I've got here, it doesn't seem like much, but it's going to build to something. So we've got a 1, 4, 5, G, C, and D, and then we've got a 1, 4, 5, G, C, and D. We've got it in 2 very different spots of the neck. So here's the first thing I want you to do in terms of practice. I want you to go like this. We're going to slide in, so we're going to go down. So that's our 1. We're going to go down a fret, and we're going to slide up. Just pick once and slide up like that. And then pick again. 2 downstrokes with the right hand like this. Do 4 of those. Then we're going to do the 4 chord. Now we're not playing a chord, we're just playing a note. We're going to play the 5. And instead of going back here to the 1 there, we're going to go to the 1 up here. Okay, now we're going to repeat the whole thing. So we got 1. We're going to do it up here though. We're going to do 4. And then we're going to do 5. So that seems elementary, but you're doing that to kind of get that in your brain a little bit. You're just trying to cement that in your mind. This 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. Both of those are played in the key of G. It's a G, C, and a D, and a G, C, and a D. And they're interchangeable. They're interchangeable. This is the big thing. This is where we get stuck in boxes. Everybody's always talking about I'm trapped in a box. And so a lot of us will, and I do this too, I'll get stuck playing down here, G, C, D, G, C, D. But wait, I can play G, C, D. Or G, C, D. You can go back and forth between these zones, and good guitar players do that. So we haven't done much. We've just played single notes, but now we're going to attach chords to those notes. So for the 1, we're going to bar. Now if you can't play bar chords, I'll give you an alternative, but for now we're going to bar the 3rd fret, and we're going to play. These 3 fingers are making the E shape out of caged. This is where you need to know the cage system a little bit, at least for the E shape and the A shape. So we're going to play the E chord for the 1, connect it to this note, E chord, or I'm sorry, G chord using the E shape, and then there's our 1. And then there's the 4 chord using the A shape. So 1, 4. And the A shape uses this note out of the L. Remember, our L looks like this, right? Down here. This L is connected, I call this the E shape L, just because it starts with an E shape. But that's our chord, G, or C, and then we just slide that up 2 frets for our D. There's the note in the L, right? 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. 1, 4, 5. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing up here. But remember, we started this time on the 5th string, so we're going to start with our A shape. It's kind of the reverse of what we did down here. So we start with the A shape, 1, and then 4, which is using the E shape, 5. You can see the L, right? There's our chords, 1, 4, 5. Okay, that's great, Brian. I've got some chords, big deal. Like, what's the point of this? Well, here's where what you've already learned. Maybe you don't realize it. You've already got the formula for being able to play the 1, 4, 5 in any key. Because if you notice, there was no open strings in anything we just did there. So if I wanted to play a country song now, using what we just did, and let's say I want to play it down here. There's my 1, there's my 4, there's my 5. All right, if I wanted to play that in G sharp, if let's say the singer says, no, that's too low, we need to go up and play that in G sharp. Before you might have freaked out, but now you just slide everything up. So that's your G sharp. So just picture the L again. There's the L. There's my 4. We'll go up to a 5, right? Okay, so let's get back to G. Get the G in our heads there. So, okay, that's country. What about blues? Same thing. I'm playing dominant 7. We're going to get to that in a minute. But I'm playing the 1, 4, sliding into them like we did. So you can play blues, rock, right? Chuck Berry kind of style. That's my 1, 4, 5. See the L? Same is true up here. 1. Now it doesn't sound as good up there. 4. Just because, you know, I'm in a higher registry for that kind of style. But anyway, I'm demonstrating that the 1, 4, 5 is in just about every kind of rhythm that you can think about. Okay, so let's kick everything up a notch. We've got some real basics now sort of out of the way. Now instead of playing these major chords, let's play some dominant 7 chords, just to give it a little more spice. We're cooking now and we're throwing in a little heavier ingredient. So if I'm playing my G chord like that, it sounds kind of happy and sort of predictable. If I lift my pinky though, I've got that G dominant 7. It's also called just a G7. That's that sound. Now I could put my pinky on the 6th fret 2nd string if I really wanted to spice it up, but to me that's a little bit too much. I like the subtlety of this. So that's my 1. And okay, for the 4 chord, or the A shape, which is, you know, we were playing it like this. Now there's different ways you could play this, and so this is a C chord, but we're playing the A shape. There's different ways I could play a C7. I could do it like that. But what I like to do, and what we're gonna do, is where I've got my index finger, remember in the L, where I'm playing that, instead of using my index finger, I'm gonna use my middle finger, and I'm gonna take these other fingers and play a C7 this way. So think of your D7 chord in first position. If you were to take that same chord shape and just play it right here, where you've got your middle finger on the 3rd fret 5th string, you're playing a C7 chord. Just playing those 3 notes, a little triad there. And you can slide it. It's really cool. You could add your pinky up here and get the 9. So you could add your pinky to the 3rd fret 2nd string. But let's just concentrate on the dominant 7. So we've got our 1 chord, which is a dominant 7, G7, C7, slide that up 2 frets, and there's your D7. Just remember, 1, 4, 5, the L is behind it all. So that means we could do the same thing up here. There's our 1, here's our 4 with the pinky off, dominant 7. Walked it up chromatically. Just instead of going like this, you go to the fret in between, right? And then back to the 1. So we're starting to build towards something now. Let's try this with a slow blues. We're gonna slide in like that. So when I'm playing that G7, I'm gonna slide into it. Now, if you can't play a bar chord, just play the power chord, just those 2 notes. You can go like this. Or you can play these 3. I mean, however you can, don't let it be an excuse if you can't play a bar chord. Find a way around it. Find a way to play some of the notes of the chord. Even if you just play this little triad up here. It's still part of the G chord, right? Just connect it to that L. But what I want you to do is we're going to take this G7, we're going to start down a half step, slide it up. We're going to do this for all 3 chords. There's the C, C7, up to the D7, and then back to the 1. Now let's come up here. There's our 1. There's our 4. Now for the 5, let's go down here. So you can start to mix them up. So when you see these guys playing all over the neck, a lot of times it's what they're doing. They're just interchanging some of the chords in different regions like that. Okay, so we've got a really cool little groove happening. But let's give it a little bit of a shuffle. Now this is a must-know blues, the old blues shuffle. And what I'm doing for that is look at where my index finger is. It's on the tip of the L. I've got my ring finger here on the 5th fret, 5th string, playing the power chord, the G power chord. And my pinky comes up to the 7th fret, 5th string. Now that's hard to do, even for me. I've been doing it for years. My pinky is kind of bent and it doesn't stretch very easily to do that. So I realize that can be a challenge. Some of you, this will be no problem. But that's the old Chuck Berry rhythm thing. But look at this. It's connected to the L. See, there's my 4, there's my 5. You can see where my index finger is. 1, 4, 5. So let's put it all together now. So watch this. We're going to slide into the chord. Little shuffle. Slide in. Now watch this. We're going to come up. See what I'm doing? We're going to come back down. We're going to work in a little fill lick, which we haven't got to, but you're about to. And then we're going to play the 5. Back to the 4. And then back to the 1. Now watch this. There's the turnaround. It's the L. I just went from the 4. We walked up chromatically, up to the 5. Play the 5, dominant 7, and then back to the 1. Now hopefully that's giving you some ideas and some light bulbs are going off. You're going, oh yeah, so I can do all of that with 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5. Now let's take a look at some fill licks that we can add to this just to enhance it a little further. Now I'm going to give you just some basic, simple ones, some major pentatonic ones. We're going to come back here to our G chord using the E shape. And if we look at where these 2 fingers are, they're in the 5th fret. If I were to play the 5th fret and the 7th fret on the 6th string, do the same thing on the 5th string, and the same thing on the 4th string, that is an awesome little fill area that's major pentatonic, and it works off of this chord shape. Let me demonstrate. See all the things I can do? Major pentatonic, it's right there. Let me extend this now. From these little boxes or whatever, from the 7th fret you can come up to the 9th fret on the 4th string and do the same thing on the 3rd string. So now you've got here to here, here to here, here to here. You see what I'm doing? A little, they're very symmetrical. They're easy to see. What can I do with that? There's my shuffle. Now that time I slid into the blues, just that one note there. But you see what I'm doing is I'm working in this major pentatonic little area and connecting it back to my chord shape, which is part of this L. Another area you've got is pattern 2 of the major pentatonic scale. It lives in this chord shape as well. So you've got all of these options, just major pentatonic. We haven't even got to the minor pentatonic, but I mean, hopefully your mind is starting to spin a little bit with some of the possibilities. Up here, let's come up here. We've got our A shape. We're still playing our G chord with our A shape, but look at this. If I were to come up to the 12th fret in this case, look at where I've got my bar there, the triad. I've got 12, 14 on the 5th string, 4th string, and 3rd string. Just that is enough just for now. See, because look at this. You've got all kinds of little fill things you can do. I wasn't doing it very clean there, but you can get the idea. Anytime you're playing this shape, hang on, we played it down here. Right? We played it here. So hopefully you're starting to see that, oh yeah, if I want to play chord changes, I can do that, or I can stay in the key of the song and just do that for the key. But either way, you've got another little area there. Now, when I came and played this, back to where we started, the fill lick here, this is really just pattern 4 of the major pentatonic scale, at least the way that I define the patterns. If you're not sure what I mean by patterns and all of that, I'll put a lesson number up on the screen. You can check that out where I go into more detail on that. But anyway, that's what this is. Now some of you are going to go, well, what about the minor pentatonic scale? No problem, you can do that too. Let's go back to our L and look at pattern 1 of the minor pentatonic scale. You can see the L lives inside of pattern 1 of the minor pentatonic scale. So what that means is if I want it to sound a little more bluesy, I can do all the same stuff I was doing. Here's my blues lick. Right? There's my 4 chord. Right? So you can start to see that I'm just pulling licks from the pentatonics, which are connected to this L. And if you're using the L up here, you can think about what you've got in this area, which would be, you've got your minor pentatonic scale pattern 4, right? However you can connect it. You know, I'll leave that up to you a little bit. I don't want to sit and tell you exactly how to think about it. I'm just giving you the concepts here. And so, so that's what you're doing. At least that's what I do. Is I take this L shape and I play it in a couple spots, and then I connect the chords to it, which we've done, and then some of those licks to those, and then I've got all the tools I need to be able to start creating music and making it on the fly and improvising. It's so much fun to do. So I'd encourage you to do that. Just take what you've got from this and start making music. Now, if you need a little extra help, I do have a song that I put together using all these concepts. It's a really cool little blues song. I'll play a little sample of it here at the end of this so you can get an idea for it. But I've got that tabbed out and very specific for those of you that need that and want that. You'll have that. There's also another zone. So we've got, we had the one zone, the L here and the L here. There's actually another zone in between those two where we can play a 1-4-5. Now it doesn't use an L visual, which is why I left it out of this video, but I included that as an extra little bit for premium members as well. So you can check all those things out. Just picture those L shapes in those two regions and start making music. All right, we'll see you in the next video. 4.